Good people, how are you doing? My name is Justin Evans, and we are live in the Young Entrepreneur Studios. And I want to welcome you today. You know that often we interview and highlight trailblazers, entrepreneurs, and people within our community that are making an impact. And today is a day like none other. But before I introduce my guest, I want to give you guys time to share, tag a friend, comment, do whatever you need to do to get involved in today's conversation. We're going to go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm attorney Yashiba Blanchard, reminding you on March 5th, 2024, when you go to the polls to vote me as your next probate judge, place 1. You can bet on 3 things I will do as a judge on the bench: increase efficiency, advocating for a fair voting process, and education and awareness. I'm asking you on March 5th to bet on Blanchard. Hi, I'm attorney Yashiba Blanchard, reminding you on March 5th, 2024, when you go to the polls to vote me as your next probate judge, place 1. You can bet on 3 things I will do as a judge on the bench: increase efficiency, advocating for a fair voting process, and education and awareness. I am asking you on March 5th to bet on Blanchard.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching that brief commercial. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you someone that is running for Jefferson County Judge Place 1, none other than Yashiba Blanchard.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, clap it up, guys. Clap it up, clap it up.
First, I want to say thank you, Justin. I hear a lot of good things about you.
Okay.
I didn't tell you this when I came in, but my daughter speaks highly of you.
What is your daughter's name?
Chelsea Clark.
I know Chelsea Clark. We used to work together.
Yeah, she told me, she said, Mom, he is a brilliant guy, very nice. And she said, he knows a lot of people and you're deep in your community. So I want to thank you first for the invitation, you know.
That means a lot. That means a lot.
Yes. And so I really want to thank you, because it takes individuals like ourselves that really get out in the community to inform the residents of our community of what is going on.
Right.
And I really think that elections and learning about candidates is something that's very important. So I thank you for the invite.
It's no problem at all. Thank you so much, Chelsea. And I know that she's a very beautiful person. She has a wonderful spirit about her, and that kind of matches the energy here. So
thank you.
Glad to have you on the platform. Now, the reason why we are here today, you are running for judge. The first question I have: why are you running for judge?
So I'm running for Jefferson County Probate Judge Place 1. Why am I running?
Yes.
The first reason why I'm running is because I want to serve.
Okay.
I want to serve the citizens of Jefferson County. I am born and raised Birmingham. I went through Birmingham City School System. I am a 1992 graduate of the most wonderful high school in the city. That would be Winona Dragons, class of 92, Bright Star on the Hill. I'm going to always give them praises because we did some fun stuff up there. They have created various individuals who've come back and worked for the community. I'm born and bred Birmingham. I'm from here. I want to give back to the people that have poured into me by becoming the first probate judge for Jefferson County that's African American. There are a lot of things on the bench that I want to do. I want to increase efficiency on the bench.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I make all of our residents, be that whatever culture, whatever race, I want to educate them on registering to vote, absentee ballots. I want to make sure that our voting process is fair. And so those are my reasons to run for judge.
Understood.
Yes.
And if elected, what type of cases will you be working on?
Okay, so a lot of times, you know, that's a really good question. So a lot of times we don't know what probate court is.
Right.
So probate court is the court that deals with power of attorneys, POAs. It deals with estate planning, wills, we don't really dig that much into that,
Right.
but that's what we'll be doing in probate court.
Okay.
So I'll hear cases like adoption cases, the probation of wills, when a loved one dies and they leave a will.
Right.
Even when they don't leave a will, I'll be listening to cases where they're opening up estates.
Okay.
And so those are the type of cases. A lot of times we have individuals that become old and they don't have family members and they need help. Those are called protected person cases and guardianship and conservatorship cases. So I will be hearing those too as well.
And I want to ask you, will divorce, and does that go into probate court as well?
That is an awesome question.
Okay.
You would not believe the amount of individuals who really think that all courts don't touch probate. Every court in our judicial circuit touches probate court. So yes, it doesn't deal directly with divorces, so I will not be presiding over divorce cases.
Okay.
But say, for instance, if a couple divorces and marital property is an issue with their divorce, if someone wanted to put a les pendens, which is pretty much in layman's terms a order basically saying that one spouse can't sell a house while the divorce is pending,
Right.
they will have to leave divorce court and come to my court for me to give an order to both parties that the home cannot be sold. So absolutely, all courts touch probate court.
Gotcha.
All of them touch probate court.
I want to ask you this question. From my experience, and hopefully this is not necessarily a family court question, and it relates to probate court as well. I know that some of the cases that we may deal with in family court, there are resolve or what do you call it? There are issues that still linger after the case is closed. Are there any situations like that in probate court where we may make a decision and we may grant a family this or a person this, where certain people may need assistance after cases are closed?
Yes, absolutely. So
Hopefully I asked that.
no, that's a good question. So you're basically saying when a case comes before probate court, is there any issues that the probate judge can still consider?
Are there any programs or assistance that may?
Yes, absolutely. This is a good question.
Right.
So a lot of us, as I said, we are not familiar with
Right.
estate planning. Right? And when I say estate planning, I'm gonna break it down.
Please.
If something happens to mom and dad is not living, what are we gonna do with mom's assets if she has multiple children?
That's what I'm asking.
So instead of the family arguing and fighting with one another, what we do is we do estate planning. So mom's wishes are fulfilled at her death. And so, yes, to answer your question, two-part. Once the estate has been settled, there are still programs in probate court where probate judges in our county, they co-partner with third parties like the Birmingham Bar, the Bessemer Bar, where they do free will clinics.
Gotcha.
That means that you can go down to the Birmingham Bar on Pro Bono Day and you can get you a free will, a will made, which values from about $500 up to thousands of dollars.
This is what
That's a part of it. Mayor Whiffen just did a promotion for a will day down at City Hall where they had lawyers. When I say pro bono, that means that clients who are unable to afford the cost for will planning, he had it to where they came in and got free wills.
See, I thought wills were already. I didn't know that.
No, they're not free. They're not free. And so that's something I want to do as the next Jefferson County Probate Judge Place 1. I want to assist all races, all residents of Jefferson County with estate planning, because that's how we transfer wealth.
Right.
That's how you transfer wealth. So if dad owns a business and dad is a single parent and he has 5 kids and something happens to dad and he doesn't have a will, that means his estate is just stagnating. But if he does have a will where he's leaving all of these kids a portion of his $1 million business, that's going to spread the wealth to his heirs. So that's something that I think that we should do. Not only as judges, I think all leaders in the community should work together to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
You mentioned the word serve. My next question, how has your upbringing, your education, your work history, how has that helped lead us to where we are today?
That's a good question. So, I'm from Birmingham.
Okay.
My mom's from Fountain Heights.
Okay.
My dad's from Ensley. So,
Okay.
I came through Birmingham City school system. My mom was a single parent, and so I had to get it. I had to make a decision, like, what do I want to have? How am I going to get it? Go get it.
Right.
And so, my upbringing was, and I'm going to be honest with you, was actually a blessing because it fueled me to want more. And so I decided when I was in the 8th grade, my teacher from Washington Elementary over here in Titusville,
Okay.
because we lived over here in Titusville, right where you are.
Right.
And she told me, she said, Yashiba, you have a peculiar voice. And she said that, I'm going to use you. So every time we had programs at school, I would be in front of the entire school reading poems, doing the greeting, introducing speakers. And she said, you should defend people with your voice. And so I've always had that in me where I try to advocate for the voiceless. People who I think that are being mistreated,
Right.
I'm always the person to take up for them. And so with that being said, from elementary school, I went on to high school, had excellent educators, African-American educators that told me the sky was the limit. Left high school, wound up going to Jefferson State. Shout out to Just State because they gave me my associate's degree.
Okay.
Then went on to UAB and left UAB and went on to Birmingham School of Law. And so when I passed the bar, I asked God to make sure that I remain I have my humbleness because I don't want to change where I'm from. I want to keep that because it's embedded in me. And so I was able to pass my bar, open up my law firm, and I practiced successfully, thanking God first and my family for the support. And I said to myself, after practicing so long, I was asked by several judges to have seats on their benches when they were out, like at conferences.
And that was going to be my next
question. Yes.
What was the decision that led us to wanting to be a judge?
It's just fascinating, and it's a good feeling as a public servant to be able to come back to the people that you grew up with and the people that mentored you, and to help out with getting cases out and to make rulings and to be fair. I know where I come from. I know the people who I grew up with, the people that poured into me, and just to be able to serve justice from the bench is just awesome. Practicing law is good. I've seen lawyering from the lawyer side of the bench, and I've actually sat on the bench, and I was able to give so much more on the side as a judge because I was able to meet people that came from where I came from, where they are, regardless of their wealth, if they didn't have wealth, and I could put myself in their shoes, consider the facts, and make a fair decision.
That's awesome.
And so that's something that I said I want to do. I've done my practice for 10 years, and so I'm ready to sit on the bench and to serve justice, and not only serve justice, but help our residents to resolve issues and also to help to get the court dockets decreased. Because we have a lot of people that's been waiting to be heard and, to get justice served.
How is that process? Is it a strenuous process or?
It's okay. It just depends. And I love all of our judges, regardless of their contributions. But I feel that the judicial system should be fast. It should be speedy. And so, with my saying that, probate court is your court where you go to, like I just told you, if a death occurs, where people probate wills, they open estates. I am no stranger to tragedy. I had it to come knock on my door. And I know that when a person loses a loved one, and if it's a family, whatever, if it's a family, it's a single person, if it's a widow, they need justice served immediately in probate court, because you think about it, it's assets. So if a person leaves assets in their will, this is going to help a person financially, may help them business-wise. And so it's important when you go into probate court for relief that the judges are making sure that those cases are getting out.
Right.
Yes.
And we mentioned, I'm saying we as if I mentioned it, but you did mention that you were mentored and also, were referred and encouraged by your mentors and other judges to take on this position. Can we name and drop a few of those? No,
I can't.
You don't have to name them all.
I can't. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Judge Winston, she's out in the Bessemer Cutoff. She's been a mentor of mine, and I sat on her bench. and I've watched her demeanor, how she loves the litigants and loves the residents that come in without a lawyer. They're pro se clients. Pro se litigants. And she models what I want to be like. She's very patient, but she's stern. She's very prepared, and she's knowledgeable about the law. And at the same time, she's compassionate about the people that comes to her bench. And so those are some things that I immediately loved practicing as a lawyer before her. And when she asked me to sit on her bench, it was spectacular, because I'm like, you want me to sit on your bench? And she's like, yes, I like how you practice as a lawyer. So she's one of the judges I look up to. There are a couple more that I look up to. I look up to Judge Smitherman. I admire her, Carol Smitherman, because she's patient and she's calm. I've never seen her get upset, and that's something that I like about her. And she's also brilliant, a wealth of knowledge. She knows her stuff. There's another judge that I look up to, Patricia Stevens, and this Judge Stevens, she's the presiding judge in divorce court or domestic relations court, and she's just smart. Lawyers can't get over on her. And she's always prepared, and she is so nice. Even when she's ruling against you, she has her way with the litigants that come before her and also with the lawyers. And the last one that I love is Judge Donald Blankenship. And Judge Blankenship is just cooler than a fan.
I heard it.
And so, I love the attributes of all of these lawyers, but with Judge Blankenship, it's like talking to a friend. And I think when a judge is approachable like that, then his court cases are going to flow, the attorney's going to get along, and they're going to get straight to business. Right. And so, I say a hybrid of all of these judges, and especially the ones that let me sit on their bench. With Judge Green Norman, I failed to mention her. She was out ill when I sat on her bench, but she was a wealth of knowledge and very aggressive. I did like that about her, but nice at the same time. Right. And so all of these judges are judges that I look up to in Jefferson County that have helped me with my practice and has shaped my view of what kind of judge that I want to be.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Big shout out to all of them, and thank you guys for your references. I just wanted to make sure that we, highlight how important it is that her mentors are encouraging her to take their spot. So that's very awesome. I want to ask you a question. You did mention the word stern, and so do we have to be stern as a judge? And I want to know, what hard decisions have you made previous, in your life or growing up that has prepared you to be stern and understand just the importance of how being stern can help the process go a little bit slower?
So to answer the first part of your question, yes, you do have to be stern as a judge.
It's not mean, but some people always say judges are mean, but we have to be. No, the word is stern.
Yes. It's the difference between being mean and stern. Right. But stern means to pretty much, make sure that what you're saying is adhered to. Right. And so that's even with parenting. And so, before I failed to say earlier, I was a single parent, a young teenage mom in the 12th grade. I had my daughter I had Chelsea in the 12th grade. Okay. And so I had to rear kids on my own as a single parent. And so you would think about how your parents are not mean, but they're stern. Right. So they mean what they say. And you have to do that because a judge is on the bench to hear cases and to make sure that laws are abided by. Right. And so if a person breaks a law, you can't be nice and telling them, oh, you broke the law, or, you can't file this because because probate court is based off of statutory law. And so if it's something that I have to turn you down on, sometimes I have to be stern about it so you'll know I mean exactly what I say. But, it has nothing to do with me being mean. If it's going to be the way that I administer the law and I'm doing it fairly, regardless, I have to maintain that sternness. And so, that's one of the things you have to do as a judge. And I've gotten that from just personal experiences, viewing how my parents raised me. Sternness is not always a bad thing.
Right.
It's the good thing. It's order,
Right.
you know. And so that's my answer to that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And I wanna ask you this. There are moments where, you know, we feel like, oh, you know, we can improve or do better at our job. But I want to know, first of all, how many years of experience have we had sitting on the bench watching the other judges? How many years of experience?
So I've been practicing for the last 10 years, and I started to sit about 6 years ago. So yeah, so I would say out of my 10 years of practice, about 5 or 6 years.
I have two questions. Have you, during that time, I know you've witnessed moments where you feel like you could have improved in these areas. Have there been any areas where you feel like, if I could have done this different, or if I could have tweaked this here, you know, I would be able to help out in this area?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the decisions I've made on the bench, I've made some solid decisions. Sitting as a judge is something, a whole different beast from being a lawyer. And so, you know, before I made rulings, I made sure that if I needed to take an issue under judicial advisement, I did that. And when I say, let me explain to the audience what judicial advisement means that if I can't give a ruling right now because I don't have enough information on the issues where I may need to research case law, and I even call my colleagues. I call judges who've already sat on the bench and got their opinions on different issues. I would just tell the attorneys in front of me, look, I'm gonna take this under judicial advisement. You'll get an order in a couple of days. And so, you know, that's one of the things that I would say, you know, sitting on the bench, it has taught me to always lean on my mentors. And, you know, when you make a decision, you have to stick to it, but you need enough information in front of you before you make a decision, because decisions, rulings in courts affect individuals' lives.
Right.
Yeah, and so I can tell you that some cases where I've made rulings, I would say majority of my cases when I've made rulings, to answer your questions, they were sound rulings. I never went back and thought twice about it because I did make quick rulings.
Right.
If it was something I could make quick, I had enough information in front of me, I would rule on it. But if it was something that I needed more time, I wasn't ashamed to tell the lawyers, hey, look, I need to research this a little more. I need to, you know, do what I need to do, get some questions answered, and I'll send your ruling out. And so most of the decisions I've made in the last 5 or 6 years, I've stood firm with my decisions.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. And I have another question for you. As a Black woman, have you experienced any difficulties, you know, throughout the profession in your career? And I mean, you know, working with different colleagues, and you know, do people maybe treat you different, or being a Black woman, how do you deal with that and, you know, continue to flourish in what you do?
Well, I mean, I feel like this, and to answer your question, yes. And have I received it from a certain race? No, I've received it from both races. As a female. But I'm gonna tell you, my practice is to maintain my cool, but to be aggressive and to make sure I'm knowledgeable of what I'm doing.
Right.
And so if I'm going up against, you know, opposing counsel, or if I'm sitting on the bench and there's a lawyer that's in front of me that's a male and they're being aggressive, to that extent, I just maintain my cool and remember my job. And so that keeps me focused on getting what I need to get done. And that's either as a lawyer, making sure that my client's interests are protected and make sure we get this W in this case. And on the bench, to make sure I maintain my cool so I can be knowledgeable about the facts of the case, look at the evidence, look at my research or whatever I've had to take under advisement, if I had to take something under advisement, and my knowledge as a judge, and make my rulings. And so pretty much I'm answering your question by saying I don't let it bother me. But I know that it exists, and I feel like this. As a female attorney, as a female judge, as long as I'm knowledgeable about my craft and I'm prepared, it's nothing you can do to me. Yes.
Amen. I want to read this button on the shirt. Okay. So this says 2024 Blanchard. Is it Blanchard?
It is Blanchard.
Just making sure. Fair, honest, committed, and justice for all. I want you to tell the people why they should vote for you on March 5th.
I am homegrown. I'm from Birmingham. I'm from Jefferson County. I have lived here. My family's from here. I have compassion for the residents of Birmingham, Jefferson County, Bessemer Cutoff. I am honest and I'm committed to what I do. I have a story and I have been successful from where I've come from. And I want to serve the citizens of Jefferson County. The job as a probate judge, Place 1, Jefferson County, is educating our residents. I want to educate them on voting, on voters registration, on absentee ballots. I want to make sure that when I get into this position, that they are not waiting years and years and years to have their cases heard. Right. I want to make sure when they don't have money for attorneys, that I implement programs where we get pro bono lawyers, meaning free lawyers to come in and help these residents. I understand that everybody didn't start from an equal playing field. And I understand those needs. And it's not always money. Sometimes it's just simply assistance. Right. And so I'm willing to work with third parties to make sure that we are educated about our wealth. Remember what I said earlier, estate planning is the transfer of wealth. And it doesn't need to be only for certain races, it needs to be for everybody. So I want to implement programs that's going to produce that. Lastly, what I want to do is make sure that we have fair elections. I'm concerned about our rights as far as our voting rights. The 15th Amendment that gave us a right to vote. The Voters' Right Act of 1965, which cut off all prejudices and discriminations with voting. I want to make sure this stuff is these policies are upheld. And lastly, why they should vote for me, because I'm the qualified candidate. I'm a candidate that has the experience. I have bench trial experience. I have jury trial experience. I've been through the trenches as a lawyer for the last 10 years. And simply, I am ready to serve. I'm ready to serve the citizens of Jefferson County.
Amen. Amen. That is amazing. That is amazing. Look, I am convinced. I am convinced. And not only that, I was thoroughly proud of the beautiful campaign that you have run thus far.
Thank you.
You are all over the city. Everywhere I go, I see your signs. So big shout out to you and your team on doing a magnificent job on your campaign. And before we go, I always ask everyone that graces our studio, for a young woman out there, or maybe a young man who may have a dream of becoming in your position one day, or they may feel stuck. What type of advice do you give yourself, or what type of advice would you give them to help them get out of their situation?
That's a good question. I mean, that's something good I want to say. I always encourage us. I don't care where you come from, what your background is, how much money you got in your pocket right now at 12:32 on February 16th. If you set a goal, write it down. When you write it down, keep reading it. Make a vision. Sky is the limit. I don't come from a rich family. I don't come from a silver spoon being in my mouth. But one thing I did was I made a plan. I set a goal. I made a vision, and I'm living out my dreams. And so that means that no matter where you come from, who your parents are, whatever your thoroughbred is, you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Wow, wow, wow. And guys, trust the process. Just got to end with that. This was amazing. I want to thank you so much again for coming to our studio. I know that you're very busy on the campaign, and just want to let you know if there's anything else that we can do to help you along this journey, you just reach out to us and let us know.
Thank you so much.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
I know. No, thank you for the hospitality.
No problem, guys. Please chat with us in the comments. Tag a friend. Do whatever you need to do to get involved in today's discussion. If you have any questions, I'll see if we can get them referred to her team to see if we can answer those questions. But if nothing else, my name is Justin Evans. I'm here with Yashiba Blanchard. She is running for Jefferson County Judge Place 1, and you can vote for her March 5th, 2024. Come on, Birmingham, get out of your seats, get active, let's vote during this campaign. And if nothing else, peace, love, and blessings to you all. We will see you guys next time.